Hi everyone, today I'm going to share with you 7 important tips to master the IELTS speaking test. Now, before I continue, I request that you like and share this video, but most importantly, please kindly subscribe to my channel so you can receive more videos of how to improve your language. So, 7 tips of how to score 9 in IELTS speaking test. So let's start with tip number 1. Tip number 1: always understand the examiner's question. So always understand the examiner's question. This does require for you to be a great listener. So this means you must listen carefully to his questions and give a suitable and specific answer. So this means don't waste your time or the examiner's time by talking about irrelevant things and wandering off away from the subject and away from the topic. And always stick to specific answers which are related to the question being asked by the examiner. And this is a really important tip that many English learners are failing to do. So please try to be specific, try to just answer the question. Okay, so let's move on to tip number 2. Always use the common words first. So always use the easy words that you're confident using, you've been using a lot. I know you've been learning for months before the exam, and you've been learning fancy, sophisticated, complex vocab for so long, and you're so keen to use them. But my advice is to start off with the easy common words in your answer, just to get you relaxed and confident. And once you start speaking, you can add those fancy, complicated words in your answer. Now, examiners do want to hear both. So they want to hear the common words which are used a lot, and also they would like to hear those sophisticated, fancy words. Let's move on to tip number 3. Use different vocabs. Obviously, all IELTS teachers and trainers will tell you this tip. Try to use as much vocabs as you can, and don't repeat the same words. This is what we obviously call paraphrasing, and paraphrasing is really essential and vital in the speaking exam, and it's also vital as well in the writing exam, but we're speaking about the speaking we're talking about the speaking test right now. So this will give assurance to the examiner that you do have the large vocab bank stored in your memory cells, and it's your chance to shine and show off your abilities, show off your English abilities. You've been studying for so long, practicing English for so long, it's your chance to show him all the vocabs you have. So please do not repeat the same word over and over again. This will have a devastating effect in your score later on. So paraphrasing has to be one of the most essential things for a high score in IELTS. Now let's move on to tip number 4. Obviously, try not to hesitate or pause for so long. So try to avoid having a lot of gaps within your speech. Obviously that would require a lot of practice beforehand, before the test and before the exam, and by avoiding the pauses and the hesitation, the examiner will be reassured that you are a fluent speaker and you're able to speak as if it's your mother language. Obviously use it a lot would obviously have a negative effect in your overall score. So if you are trying to pause, try to make it natural, try to make it as if you're thinking about the answer and not thinking about an English word to use for your answer. Anyways, let's move on to tip number 5. speak naturally. What speak naturally means: try to not memorize answers, try to just practice as much as you can before the test. And what a lot of students are doing, they're trying to memorize the answers but based on past questions, and they're writing scripts and a lot of answers on their notebooks, and they're memorizing them. The examiner will notice if you've memorized your answer. So try to be natural, try to use your intonations and listen to native speakers speak and try to imitate them, basically. Okay, so let's move on to tip number 6. Tip number 6, basically, try to be creative. So be creative in your answers. Obviously that would require a lot of imagination. What I mean by be creative, sometimes you just have to lie. So sometimes the question isn't relevant to your life experiences, so you probably don't have an answer. So you do require a high level of imagination. So the examiner is not going to investigate whether you're right or wrong, or you're saying a lie or something like that. Just basically lie. Try to imagine that you're not the same person and be creative in your answers and use different vocabs. And one of the most important things to know in this test is that you're being tested for your English, nothing else. So let's move on to tip number 7. Practice makes perfect. And this is my last tip, obviously. Practice makes perfect. So all the 6 tips before tips number 7 can be achieved when you practice. So try to engage in the IELTs student groups on Facebook, on different platforms, and try to find some native speakers or any English language speakers. Try to practice with them. Also, you can practice alone as well. Just take a voice recorder out, read some questions and answer the questions, and listen over. Try to correct your mistakes and repeat. So the more you speak, the more you practice, the more fluent, perfect speaker you'll sound. So it's very simple, actually. So that's it for today. Before I finish, obviously I'd like you to subscribe to my channel, like and share, and also leave a comment below if you have any questions or any other tips for other English speakers, so we could share with everyone. And please press that bell, the notification bell. Once you subscribe, you'll get my latest videos of how to improve your English language. Thanks a lot.